In 1990, one piece of underwear didn't just get people talking, it challenged the status quo. But Madonna's iconic cone bra didn't begin on the Blond Ambition Tour. It was born from two forces: a rebellious designer's imagination and a pop superstar's refusal to be quiet. This is the story of how a corset became a symbol and why it still matters. To understand the explosion, you have to picture the world it came from. By the late 1980s, culture was shifting. The era of excess and power dressing was giving way to louder debates about gender, sexuality, and control. And in the middle of it all were two artists destined to collide: Madonna and Jean Paul Gaultier. By 1990, Madonna was already the queen of pop and a master of provocation. She'd spent the decade turning fashion into a language of power, taking thrift store pieces and religious imagery and making them into bold statements. In 1984, she shocked the MTV stage in a deconstructed wedding dress and boy toy belt buckle, blending bridal innocence with bedroom attitude in a way the mainstream couldn't look away from. Her early style lace, fishnets, rubber bracelets, crucifixes had created a generation of Madonna wannabes. She moved effortlessly from the rockabilly polish of true blue to sharp, androgynous power suits, constantly blurring gender lines. Then came Like a Prayer in 1989, gothic lace, burning crosses, and outrage on a global scale, including condemnation from the Vatican. Madonna wasn't just wearing clothes. She was using them to force uncomfortable conversations. Meanwhile, in Paris, Jean Paul Gaultier was earning his reputation as fashion's enfant terrible. He found beauty in the unexpected, elevated street style, and treated the runway like a theater. And he was obsessed with corsetry, not as restriction, but as architecture. For him, underwear wasn't about hiding. It was about structure, identity, and power. That obsession started early. As the story goes, he even made a cone bra prototype for his childhood teddy bear, Nana. Playful, yes, but also a clue to where his ideas were headed. By the mid-1980s, his runway work was already pushing pointed bra silhouettes into high fashion, daring and sculptural. On one side, a pop icon using fashion as a weapon. On the other, a designer who treated underwear like armor. Their partnership wasn't just possible, it was inevitable. The moment arrived with Madonna's Blond Ambition World Tour. It wasn't planned as a standard concert. It was musical theater, a choreographed, dramatic, and built to provoke. Madonna wanted costumes as bold as the message, and she knew exactly who could deliver. She called Gaultier. He said yes immediately and created hundreds of sketches. The collaboration clicked because both of them loved flipping expectations, especially around masculinity and femininity. One key look captured that: the pinstripe power suit, a symbol of women stepping into male-dominated spaces. But it was what was underneath that suit that would make history. Gaultier returned to the pointed bra idea, drawing from the bullet brass of the 1940s and 50s, sharp silhouettes that were almost weapon-like, and fused it with the underground club idea of underwear as outerwear. The result: a pink satin corset with aggressive, conical cups. Delicate, but dangerous. On April 13, 1990, the tour opened in Chiba, Japan. Madonna started in that pinstripe suit, surrounded by male dancers. Then, during Express Yourself, she tore the jacket open to reveal the corset. The reaction was instant. The contrast was striking. A masculine suit paired with hyper-feminine lingerie became armor. The media erupted. Was it fashion? Costume? A stunt? And as the tour spread, the controversy deepened. When Blond Ambition hit Europe, backlash intensified, especially around Madonna's mixing of sexuality and Catholic imagery. In Italy, the Vatican condemned the tour, and Pope Jean Paul II urged people to boycott it. Officials in Toronto even threatened arrest over the show's simulated sexual content. But Madonna didn't retreat. In Rome, she faced the criticism head-on, framing the show as theater, as something meant to challenge, provoke, and ask questions. She refused to cancel. By then, the cone bra wasn't just a costume. It was the centerpiece of a culture war about censorship, sexuality, and who gets to control the narrative of a woman's body. Then something shifted. As the tour continued, the cone bra became more than controversial. It became a symbol, and people began asking what it actually meant. Corsets, historically, were tools of control designed to force women into acceptable shapes. Gaultier and Madonna flipped that history on its head. On Madonna's athletic body, the corset wasn't about limitation, it read as authority. And the cones weren't soft or inviting. They were pointed, defiant, almost aggressive, like armor. The message was hard to ignore. Femininity and sexuality weren't being presented for approval. They were being claimed. On her terms. Wearing underwear as outerwear tore down the wall between public and private. It suggested that what was once hidden could be a source of strength, not shame. It rejected the idea that female sexuality should be controlled or quietly consumed. Instead, Madonna turned it into a performance of power and choice. Critics and academics debated it, fashion writers analyzed it, and the image spread everywhere. The look became a new kind of power dressing, one that didn't ask women to dress like men to be taken seriously. It argued that power could come from embracing femininity, but owning it. And the impact lasted. The cone bra helped cement Madonna as a fashion icon and propelled Gaultier to global superstardom. It supercharged the underwear as outerwear trend. Corsets and bustiers moved from subculture to mainstream, echoing on runways for decades. The cone bra itself became a piece of fashion history. Even after Gaultier stepped back from the runway in 2020, the house continued, still marked by the disruptive spirit of designs like this one. And Madonna continues to revisit her iconic looks, keeping the cone bra front and center. So was it empowerment or shock? Maybe the real answer is it was both. It was shocking because it was powerful, and it was powerful because it refused to behave. The cone bra wasn't just worn by Madonna. It was wielded. Two artists took a piece of lingerie, flipped its meaning, and dared the world to see female sexuality not as something to be controlled, but as a source of undeniable power. And that legacy isn't going out of style. What do you think? Symbol of empowerment or pure shock value? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into fashion's most iconic moments, subscribe and hit the notification bell.